Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our This Is Us review for Season 5, Episode 15, Jerry 2.0. And, we're almost at the end of this season, and in the time since we last recorded, it has been confirmed that Season 6 is the final season.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been enough smoke around that. They've sort of mentioned, that it was probably going to be the end. But now there's the confirmation, so hopefully a spin-off?
Can we have something? I'm sure we will have this conversation even further at some point in the next year or so, but I'm sad, and not even in all the usual ways that This Is Us makes me sad, which are many and often. This episode, I'm a little worried. I'm still trying to convince myself that it's all gonna be okay, because we need it.
Yeah, and I'll give a disclaimer. I have never seen Jerry Maguire. I know that a lot of this episode is about that, but because I don't know what it's about, all I know is Tom Cruise is in it, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it, and there's some kid that looks like Matt as a child in it. That is all I know about that movie. So, I'm going to watch it at some point, but I haven't seen it yet. So that's where I am going into this review.
I am actually the kid from Jerry Maguire grown up. No, I'm not. That is a lie. I listen, I wish I was in that iconic of a movie, but no, I have not seen Jerry Maguire either.
14 years, you don't tell me.
My secret past in between Beauty and the Geek and Jerry Maguire is all coming out now. No, we are two people who have never seen Jerry Maguire about to comment on an episode themed very much around it. Luckily, there's a lot of fun stuff still to get into. Before we do, why not hit that subscribe button? Because even though we haven't seen Jerry Maguire, you can see all of our other discussions on this season and a whole lot more.
That was good.
Yeah, right. See, I think of those on the fly. Not all of them end up being good, and those are the ones you guys just don't see.
We're almost at 50,000 subscribers. It is so close. I think we're 1,700 subscribers away. So yeah, hit that button. Help us get to that milestone. We'll love you forever.
Yes, okay. I love a lot of this episode too. I don't know if I'm at love it forever phase, but there's just I could list off at the start of this all the weird and funny things the writers threw in here.
Miguel. Listen, this was such a good Miguel episode. No, it really was. I've cut you off twice now. Let's do it.
Miguel.
Right? He really hit the nail on the head with a lot of sort of the hill that I've been dying on. I know that there's a lot of people hoping that Kevin will end up with Sophie, and that it's sort of, I was in that camp, but so much time has passed, and then you kind of look back at how Kevin treated her over time and the things that happened to her, that I'm just kind of I feel like Kevin has grown into a better person now. I feel like she doesn't deserve that. She should be able to move forward as well. And that we have the other Pearson siblings are in these great love of their lives. And if it's every single Pearson sibling is in the exact same relationship, it kind of takes away a little bit of the reality of this show, which is that there are lots of different relationships and lots of different ways that people fall in love, and that's why when we had Miguel sort of talking about that, saying, Jack was Rebecca's great love. It's written in the stars. And then there's our love that we wrote together. I died. It was so true. And it was just so beautiful the way that he explained it there. So many different ways to love somebody. There isn't only Jack and Rebecca. It is not the only way.
I knew we were going to have a good Miguel episode. From the moment he showed up in those sunglasses at the start of it, he was just how do I look? And then she goes into the whole Eric Estrada thing, and Miguel had a lot of fun. I have to pump the brakes slightly, though. I have one pet peeve with Miguel in this episode.
See yourself out.
I never need to hear you discuss Renee Zellweger's mouth ever again, Miguel.
I agree.
It's kind of I think it was Kevin who was just sort of no, Miguel, just no.
Yeah, and then Randall was that is the weirdest thing.
Miguel is so weird, but also so... Renee Zellweger's mouth aside, Miguel is so endearing with a lot of his conversations. That moment about crafting their own story was very, very sweet. I love the flashbacks of him and Rebecca before they even got together, him checking in on her.
Yeah, I think it's just, this show is really important in that way, that it does show that there are many different ways that you can get to sort of a good, comfortable, loving relationship. It doesn't have to be, it's your greatest love. There are lots of different types of loves that are great and wonderful and caring and loving, and, you know, and we heard Madison say that she loves Kevin. She didn't say it to him, but there's been a lot of discussion about that they haven't really said that to each other yet. We heard Kevin say he's really crazy about her in this episode, and she has said that she loves him. So we're getting there. It isn't maybe the great love. She did say she got not ghosted, but you know, that he wasn't really responding back, and that, you know, maybe if they didn't have the kids, they wouldn't have been able to connect. But everybody connects with something, right? Yeah. Like, it doesn't always matter what it is. When you make the connection, you make the connection.
I love the construction of this episode, first and foremost. Like, I love that it is like, here's the bachelor party, here's the bachelorette party. I like how weird these two parties were. Like, Kevin's, let's go up to the cabin, and Randall's in like his fisherman gear, which I also, okay, what is cooler, fisherman Randall or Miguel in sunglasses?
Miguel.
Okay, Miguel. Wow, so many Miguel chants in this episode. Let us know what you guys think. Which one is cooler in the comments? But I love this setup for that. I love how they sort of use these to piece together a few different interesting dramatic situations. Kevin, I have a slight bone to pick with you as well.
All right, here we go.
Why did you not let Nikki bring the darn puzzle? Because guess what? If Nikki had his puzzle, maybe he would have stayed out of your business. He wouldn't have said what he did about Madison and gotten all cranky and gotten you all upset. This started with Puzzlegate, Kevin.
It's true. Maybe that might have happened, but they still ended up watching Jerry Maguire, which seemed to be the catalyst for Nikki. Also, though, it's a good thing that it did happen, because as, you know, we saw Sophie call into Kevin, and she has here's a little bit of the conspiracy that I've got my tinfoil hat on for. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay. That she has broken up with her man. The fact that she has changed her number, and she was like, oh, I thought maybe you wouldn't recognize my number because I've changed it. Well, why did you change it? Maybe something went really sideways with her man, and she's just like, nope, I'm done with you. I didn't want to block you, so instead I just changed my whole number. Maybe it got really weird or scary. Who knows, right?
I think it's a good theory. I didn't piece it together that way, but I was thinking, okay, there had to have been somebody who was giving her a really hard time, because changing your number's a pain in the butt. Like, you're not going to go through it unless, like, you feel like you can't have that.
You really need to.
Yeah, so that makes a good bit of sense that maybe she is just sort of like, and she had talked herself into this, that she was nervous, but she wanted to say congrats to Kevin. I mean, if she...
Maybe that was just sort of her stepping stone, because if her and her man have broken up and then she sees, you know, the life she was supposed to have, or she feels she was supposed to have, you know, that should have been me married to Kevin. I was married to Kevin. Why didn't our relationship work out? Now he's got kids, like, and now my relationship is broken up. That's usually around the time that you start digging into the well that you don't need to dig into anymore, because that time has passed. And she does make that call. Nikki did say what he said, that, you know, he's marrying Madison because, you know, he feels an obligation. It at least took Kevin, on this journey that I think we all kind of needed to know an answer to.
Yeah.
I've seen the comments, we've seen the comments, that there's a lot of people that feel like he is marrying her because of the kids. Fine. That may have been, again, the catalyst of how it started, but that doesn't mean that that's where it's going, or where it's ending, or what is going on with that. And it seems like this episode, and rewatching that movie and having that talk with all the guys, made him realize that he is actually really happy, and we saw him delete Sophie's number.
This is what made this episode so great. Like, it is the literal embodiment of the how it started, how it's going meme that has been out there over the past couple of months, because it is sort of like...
We have one up on our Instagram from Christmas time with Coco, so head over there, Matt and Jess TV, and check that out.
Yeah, like, it was just so perfect how all this is done. Like, I loved him deleting Sophie from his phone because he was suddenly
Oh God, I can see the comments now, Matt. What have you done?
Hey.
Now it's the meme of the dog on fire.
Okay, you know
like
what?
Everything is okay.
I'm putting on my fireproof outfit because, Kevin and Sophie fans, I understand your feelings. I was one of you for a very long time. Even at the start of this season, I was very skeptical about Kevin and Madison. But, these crazy kids have won me over. And it seems to be what Kevin wants. And if this is what makes Kevin happy, I have to support that because I want to root for Kevin as a character. And I like the journey that got him here. Where, Nikki's crankiness in this movie and all of this got him to make this realization, though the irony is that maybe Madison is kind of in the opposite position right now.
Yeah, this was a twist that I didn't really see coming. I mean, obviously the promo had us all set up for, is Kevin going to, ruin his life again and do something impulsive instead of moving forward? And I was really happy to see that he made the choice to just move forward and not go back and start hurting Madison, hurting Sophie, hurting himself, hurting Kate. I imagine Kate would be really hurt as well. Like, everyone would be really hurt by him doing this impulsive thing because Sophie just happened to pick up the phone to call. But then we're on the other side here where Madison is getting really focused on this game that they played, where it's sort of like how well does Kevin know her? And I mean, to some degree, I think she knows that Kevin is only going to know her so well. They haven't known each other that long or that intimately. So, some stuff she's going to let go. But to be fair, he actually answered that first question like 10 out of 10, knew her very well. Then it gets to the question of, what do you see in your future when you guys are empty nesters? And he doesn't answer that question. He pauses too long and gives kind of a BS answer, and she is stuck on that because it's making her think like, well, maybe he just doesn't actually see what that's gonna look like. But that's okay, Madison. Like, you're a real person. I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
It is okay because you guys are making this commitment to see what that's going to look like.
And to me, I felt a little bit of that when Kevin gave that BS answer, as you put it. And, if I was Madison, I would, I would have some thoughts swirling in my head after the fact. Like, that's natural. But I also think at the same time, Kevin has gone through a lot. I think, he's had heartbreak. He's had a lot of pain. I think he may be kind of guarded even in that situation. He's got freaking Nikki there who's like reading him these questions. Like, I think it's okay if Kevin doesn't give a 10 out of 10 answer to that question. Now, I do have another edition of the This Is Us characters being weird book to go over here.
Okay.
Because we got to talk about Joe. The ex of of course, every sitcom or show like this, they always have the dancer who shows up is like an ex of the person they're dancing for. And she announces this, and then Joe, when he's doing the whole painting thing, is like, should I be wearing clothes or not? And then Rebecca says not. It's like, Rebecca, Madison just said that she was with this guy. You don't need him to drop trow right now.
I actually love that. And the reason why is because exactly what Rebecca said by the end of this episode to Beth, where she was just like, I needed this day. You made me feel like I'm just a regular woman again, a regular mom again, like I'm just part of the unit again.
Yeah.
And so her saying something like that sort of added to all of that sort of frustration that she's got with Miguel, where their relationship has changed right now.
Yeah.
Because he's worried about her, obviously, and he loves her and he cares about her, but that's all that's happening, where she's losing that part where she just feels like Rebecca.
I did. I loved everything with
that
Rebecca
made me laugh.
in this episode, even if I was
the
kind of
latter. Yeah, he's like, underwear, no underwear. The latter.
Yeah, I was kind of like, Rebecca? It just caught me in between that and Renee Zellweger's mouth. We just had some weirdness going on. But you know what? I love Rebecca so much in this episode because I I did not see the scenes with Rebecca and Beth coming, but I thought those were so great. Both the past ones and the present ones.
Yes, both past and present. The actresses playing Beth from the past is incredible.
Yes.
Like, she has all the same mannerisms, everything. Like, she is so well cast. I'm sorry I don't know your name, but you are incredible.
Yeah.
Like you're watching this video.
Yeah. You and Madison, you know. But I love those scenes. I thought all of that was really great. I am happy we got more inside sort of Rebecca's head in both different departments. And this is the thing about this episode. Like, there are still so many good things to talk about.
Yeah, and some, like, sort of sad things to talk about. So, of course, let's talk about this bachelor party fire table deal going on here, because we had that moment where Randall's like, okay, Kevin's having a cold feet. Let's all sit around, have a talk, and let's all, like, get him out of this. And it's sort of like the first person to go is Toby, who's basically like, my marriage is falling into shambles and I'm so unhappy and all these things are happening. I'm so unhappy.
Yeah.
There is no happy ending. I was like, oh, Toby, no.
First of all, I love your Toby. Second of all, yeah, Toby is officially the worst person to have at the bachelor party, because there's for anyone out there who's been to a bachelor party, this guy is always there. It is you may be celebrating your happiness to come, but I am sad and alone, and I just want to drink and just like be. And you know, Toby, we talked about this in the last video. We're worried about the divorce.
Yeah, we are, and this did not make me feel any better about it, because Toby has said this stuff. And yeah, they sort of like gave him the pep talk that they could to kind of be like, yeah, you'll get through it, sort of thing. But he still hasn't spoken to Kate about it.
No, and he had that whole thing with the job offer in San Francisco where he's like, yeah, I'm interested in it. But once again, we haven't seen him talk to Kate really all that much about this.
Yeah, and that's a big decision to make, because I think they're just in LA. That's like, 8 hours away. That is far. So that would either then mean long distance, which is a lot that went on in this episode as well, or she's then gonna have to give up her job and what she loves to do to move out there with him. So I mean, this isn't gonna help anything. This is only going to help Toby, who I understand is at a place that he feels he needs a job, but like, it can't be at the expense of everybody else.
Yeah, like they have kids. 2 kids, and they're so little.
And she's got a job that she loves.
I know.
Like, why take that away from her?
I hope that he comes to his senses and he's just frustrated and sad and not thinking clearly, because this is just bad. Like, there's no other way to explain it. It's just bad.
Yeah, or like, Kevin, offer him a job for in the meantime.
Yeah.
Like, why not get him to help you out with something until he can find something else? You have the money. You can make a position.
Yeah. There's just gotta be something else for Toby, and I hope we see it in the finale. Fingers crossed on that. Finally, we gotta talk Nikki and Sal. Like, Nikki, look how tech savvy Nikki is at the end of this episode. Like, searching up Sally's name.
He is not like Gibbs at all on NCIS, who's throwing his phone in the fire.
No coaster either for Nikki.
No coaster either.
Do you think we actually see Sally this season? I don't, but...
Oh, this season?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But they're clearly setting something up here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We know that Nikki's wearing a wedding ring in the future. A lot of people think it's Sally. Some people think it might be Cassidy. I personally still feel, even after this episode, that he is doing a nicety for Rebecca, and that she thinks that he is Jack, and that he is wearing the ring, that they are not actually married, but that instead of telling her over and over again as she forgets, like, oh, he's dead, oh, he's dead, oh, he's dead. That is bad. That is tough. I've been in that situation with my grandmother. My grandfather passed away. She had Alzheimer's. Telling her over and over and over again that he is dead is not a way that we wanted to go about that situation.
Yeah, I think that's the theory that makes the most sense to me. Like, if I was to sort of project Sally, I think she's probably, off somewhere. She's maybe married. She may have kids. She may have grandkids. I foresee her and Nikki.
She may not be alive.
Yeah, Like, all of these are possible. I hope that she's alive. I hope she and Nikki can at least, like, form a friendship. But I don't want to be unrealistic here and say that, Nikki and Sally are going to run off into the sunset. It's been decades.
It has been decades. It does happen, though, because it did happen for my dad, who ended up rekindling a love from way back in his 20s. And he's in his 70s now. So, I mean, it can happen, but, like, it's rare.
Yeah, and so I hope we touch on that a little bit next season. I'm very curious to see if the Sophie stuff is done, if she turns up in the finale at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's done for Kevin. He has made a decision, and deleting her number, it's a big decision, but it's the one he's made, and it's where his head and his heart is at.
Yeah, I think we're going into the finale where Kevin's decided. Madison's a little more on the fence.
Yeah, I'm just really hoping that Madison is going to just have the conversation with him so that they can get married, and that she is not going to end up having the cold feet and end up leaving, where she starts to get really in her head. I mean, she has a lot of abandonment issues with her mom leaving and her dad just not really being around for her. No family, no nothing. She's been alone a lot. So I could see her really getting into her head about this sort of, after we slept together, I tried to contact him. He just wasn't that interested. And then we had these babies, and now all of a sudden he's interested. But he doesn't really see a future. He can't answer that question. So,
I think he can answer it now, or at least I hope he can answer it now.
Give him the chance.
Yes, we believe in you guys. Okay, now, let us know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments. And, I'm sure you're excited about the finale. We're excited about the finale.
I can't believe it's almost here.
I also am very upset because we didn't even mention this, but this is probably going to be the last episode coming up for the rest of this year because they're waiting till mid-season unless they change their minds later for season 6.
Yeah, why, Matt?
See, okay, we have to feel all the feelings together.
Do we?
Yes, we are a community that celebrates joy and sadness and puzzles. We will build a puzzle with you, Nikki. You can bring your puzzle over here. But okay, if you guys did enjoy this video, subscribe, hit that like button, support us, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.